Awesome. So Saji, tell me about your core
Right.
values.
Yeah.
I'd love
It's
to know what drives you and what
yeah,
drives you towards excellence.
for sure. By the way, it's Sagi. I know not like
Oh, Sagi, sorry.
most people don't get how to pronounce my name, which is terrible. I have the most unpronounceable name ever. But
Right. It's
um,
funny. It's like Grant Cardone talks about it. Just pronounce the name and then you figure it out as you, yeah, Sagi. Okay. I
yeah,
apologize.
yeah, no problem. So core values. I guess first of all, like my brand is called Mindful and Ruthless. So in a way, those are essential core values of mine. Coming from being in debt and not succeeding with my business and my life, and up until now, we're only like less than 2 years have passed, and I'm already um, generating six figures and having more times with my family than ever. I can say that the thing that really saved me in a way, or that made me all the success that I have right now, and again, it's so little time. Time will tell if it will continue to be a success. But the things that drive me are, again, being mindful of every moment, mindful of the people I'm interacting with, mindful of my relationships, and just practicing mindfulness, like actually meditating. And we can talk about the meditation retreat later as well. But um, that's like mindful and ruthless. Ruthless is because I'm ruthless with my gut feeling. And we as entrepreneurs, we can have a lot of ideas in our mind, and a lot of people will tell us, oh, you shouldn't do that, or you should do this or that, and they'll try to give us new ideas and new things that might be even like, they might even seem like opportunities, but they're definitely distractions. And we have to be ruthless with our gut feeling to continue on our own path. And always, one of the things that, when I was totally in my worst entrepreneurial spot or moment, Jason Zook, an amazing entrepreneur, he gave me the advice that I'll never forget. He said, Sagi, it's time for you to do you. Sounds like you haven't done you. Now it's Sagi time now. So it's what you should say to yourself. Like, so whatever your name is right now, you guys should say, if your name is Brian, you should say it's Brian time. So,
Oh, that's amazing because it's like we all have the human experience, right? We don't
right,
really, we all think we're individual and we're separate, but let's inspire us to become us, right?
right, right,
Uh,
totally. So yeah, so that's that. And family first, of course. I think that's also something that really is a value of mine. I think to give love and to be loved is one of the things that is our human. Um, it's the best thing that a human can have in the world. I see the time with my wife and my children as something sacred. Um, I'm not a fanatic. I mean, I can't say that, I'm not even checking my phones while I'm, playing with the kids every once in a while, but I definitely do try to be mindful, and try to practice what I call the switch. It's like when you just like, if you're with your child playing, you should be with your child playing, not on your phone, or, thinking about emails. And that's also mindfulness. It's kind of like, if thoughts come up, you say, okay, thoughts, go away. I can't do anything with you. You're not helping me right now. I'm with my daughter, I'm playing. Let me play. Let me be like a kid again. Just like enjoy the time with her and like be, this pure time together. So it's a switch. We always have to practice it. Also, we have to build integrity with the people that we're in relationship with our families and stuff like that. They should know that they can count on us. If we say, okay, we're there at this specific time, like I'm back by 8 p.m., whatever, and I'm coming back, and I'm just checking emails all the time. I'm not really there. So again, just making sure that we build integrity. And that's like the family first value, I think, is very important for me.
So you have family first, being incongruent with yourself, like having that internal and external. Where does your bond, right? You say
Right.
what you mean and you mean what you say and you do it. I think that's so important because for years I would say something like, oh yeah, I'll get you that book. And then like I would never get that book, and then I'd say something else. And then at one time I remembered that I got to start doing exactly so I bought a little notepad. And I said, you know what? I got to get this person what I said I would do. And
Nice.
it
Yeah.
stumbling blocks turn to stepping stones.
Yeah.
And it's important. You have a digital sunset with your kids. You say, you know what, I'm shutting this off. at 7 p.m. and I'm going to be present with them for the next 2 hours. Yeah, I'll get back to work. But for these 2 hours, I'm going to be loving, I'm going to be giving, I'm going to give my soul force to them and give them my energy and love and kindness. So important, man. It's wonderful, wonderfully said. Are those the last of your core values, or is there other?
Well, I guess, it's like all about, I think be a giver is one of my core values. Be a giver, not a taker. Like I'm trying to always give as much as I can, out of any interaction. And I keep on learning all the time. I've been blogging since 2011. I have a big blog here in Israel, and it's so something like, giving and writing content and sharing my processes and stuff like that has been something that I started experimenting with, not really knowing what I'm getting into back then, and slowly started seeing the comments and the emails coming in from people that I helped, and I'm like, oh, I really have an impact, so I started doing more and more and more, and then I launched Hacking UI, which was an international blog, and built a community which is international, and then I went on to hosting a podcast where I interview people from all over the world. And even then I had to see, while I'm interviewing people for my podcast, what value can I bring to the people that are listening, so every time you think again and again and again, now I'm thinking like, what value can I give your people right now? So definitely I think that when you're giving out value into the world, you get tenfold the amount of value back. And whether it's like just love, and whether and it also just it generates money. It's a money machine. I think that there's a lot of stories also about people. There's a story about this millionaire, and he went totally bankrupt, and he didn't know what to do. He didn't have an idea for a new business or something like that, and the business wasn't going well. So he started with the money that he didn't have left, basically just started investing a lot of money in nonprofits, just started just giving away money. He said, I don't remember how he got to doing that or something like that. I think it was something like his wife told him he should do that. And he just started doing that. And he started, all of a sudden his business started succeeding. So people see connection between giving and prosperity. And I think it's definitely a thing that I'm connecting and in the Buddhist way, I see it as karma, so coming from a mindfulness meditation kind of thing, you see it as karma. It's plain karma. You give good out to the world, you get good back. You give bad things out to the world, you get bad things back. So I'm totally seeing if I have a bad day or if something bad happens, I'm seeing it as me paying karma. That's the way I see things in reality. Although it's definitely not something, a lot of people just won't agree with me or think I just see it as, okay, I get, stung by a bee. I'm like, okay, I just paid karma. It's okay. I thankful I didn't break a leg or something. Anyway, yeah.
Oh, dude, no, it's awesome. I love everything you're saying. And guys, if you're not checking out Sagi over at Mindful and Ruthless, please do. And he answers most of, I'm going to say all of his comments with love and care. And if you're having a bad day and go there, I'm always commenting and saying, you're amazing, you're this and that. And he's always like, oh, thank you so much. And he's a real go-giver, and he offers exceptional value. Just hang in there, man. I know a lot of people, I'm part of 20 groups. I literally went down to 10, and I realized these are the groups I need to be a part of because, as social media people, we're all over the place, and we don't go depth. We take breadth of things. And Sagi, if you dive into his material and his existence and what he's doing for us as connecting with us on a deeper level, he offers literally 20. I offer 10x the value. He offers 50x the value. And that's the reason I'm having him on this podcast, is because I feel he is an exceptional person, human being, living the experience. And I just want to be a part of that and thank him. So guys, you can thank him too by going and visiting his Mindful and Ruthless on Facebook, right? His fan group, they call it. I forgot what they call it.
It's just a group. Yeah, it's like a Facebook group, I guess.
Facebook group.
Yeah, totally. Thank you so much. Definitely by doing this podcast, you obviously are a giver too. So thank you, Raymond. Really appreciate it.
Two givers hanging out in a room, man. I don't know. So, you have a very, very driven mindset. And I think, like for me, my core values are like faith, courage, and willpower, which I'm strongly working on. And also I have a core value, which I want to tell everybody to strive for. It's one that I don't have. And I think, you know, it's called fear less, like not fearless, but fearing less.
Mm-hmm.
And going that. And guys, try to really encourage and empower yourself to do just a little more, man, to just give a little bit and be incrementally improving. But you know what? I believe everybody could use a little bit of your sauce, Sagi. And I want to learn about the failures you had and what the power of that did for you. Because, you know, when you have fear, courage are both on the same side of the flip coin, and you need them both to move forward. And I want to hear your failures, right? And what lured you to keep moving, right? Lured you to keep moving forward. I really want to hear this. And I believe everybody could benefit. I mean, Sagi, not to brag, but he's an entrepreneur, made well over 6 figures and more, right? If this is something you want to do and give value to the world, these stories that he's about to drop are absolutely going to be amazing for you to learn. So without further ado, go for it.
All right. Thank you, man. Yeah. So about a year and a half ago, I found myself as a failing entrepreneur, actually, 50K in debt. We're after a period of 6 months where, so going back even further than that, I left my day job about 3 years ago or so in order to try and build my my business, off my blog full time. So I had an international design blog, and it was doing very well. I had a partner, but we both had our day jobs still, working at a very successful startup in key roles. And I was like the design director, and he was like in charge of the front end. But our blog was doing very well as a side project and was making very, very good revenue. So we said, if we quit our day job, we can probably turn this into a full-time thing. We did, and then after that, we found ourselves in a period of 6 months where we didn't have any, like, it was after a few good months, and then like dropping all of a sudden, like to nothing. 6 months of no paycheck, like we couldn't pull a dime out of our business. We were actually in debt to other, like we had to pay a team and everything, and it was a lack of vision, like in a way, and we both kind of like pulled in different directions. So we were both very different people, and it just didn't work out. So after 6 months of that, and me being the only provider in the household, it's a completely different story why, but at that period I was the only provider, the main provider, and 2 kids, mortgage, everything like that, like the usual life. And in Israel, taxes are crazy. So so basically I just found myself totally broke after wasting a huge loan that I took from the bank in order to try to make ends meet. And yeah, you hear me? Okay.
Yeah. Keep going.
Okay, cool. So, and then I was like, I didn't know what to do. I was listening to all these great podcasts, Pat Flynn, JLD, like for years, reading amazing books like The 4-Hour Work Week and The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone, like all these great books and stuff. And I'm like, why can I not just make this work? Like, why is it not working for me? Why am I not even able to create a single dime off my business? And just going very, very sideways. So at the moment, like where it was 2 weeks before, credit cards and stuff came in, and the credit cards in Israel just are like debit cards. Basically, at the end of the month, they just take it off your balance in your bank account. So for me, it was like in 2 weeks, I know a huge sum is going to come out of my bank account, and I'm already in the red, totally in the red. Like I'm not going to be able to even pull money out to buy food for my family. It was definitely a very bad spot. And I was like, I was a failure to my partner because, obviously we weren't handling things well, and we're about to break up. I'm talking about my business partner, and I was a failure also to my wife which back at home I barely saw at the period because I tried to make ends meet. I tried to make money. So I just hustled really, really hard. I'm like, the hustle mentality, you got to hustle hard, work hard, then more money would come in. And then my kids were everything. Like I left my day job to spend more time with them and work from home and stuff like that. Like I didn't work from home. I worked from an office because I had a partner and I was not seeing them. I was at the office all day. And I was just not seeing my family. I wasn't making money. Like all my community, I was like, I'm also a failure to my community because I promised my community we'll do amazing things together and I'll have so much to provide them. And I failed. And so I felt like a total failure, totally broke. Just one night, remember just like taking my dog for a walk and just, in my mind, I was running this like, equations, like the metrics, running numbers, and like, how can I make this work? How can I make, how can I make money in like 2 weeks? And I couldn't figure it out. And how can I pull money in? I can be creative. I can get money from somewhere. Just like I didn't have any thought that was good enough that rose in my mind. And there I just like broke down. I cried. I for the first time in my adult life kind of. And then at that moment, I remember myself like saying to myself, okay, like, again, like at least the mindfulness part kicked in. I've been practicing mindfulness for long, and it's like, okay, crying. Okay, I'm aware, I'm crying. Great. Now what? So, and then like this kind of shift where like now what part came in, and I'm like, okay, so really now what? Great. So Sagi, you can cry all you freaking want, but what are you going to do about it? So I said, okay, I read a book. So I read a book from this guy called Calvin Wayman, and this book is called Fish Out of Water. It was actually 6 months before that, just before my really bad period started happening. I read that book and I reached out to this guy and I wanted him to get him as a coach. And he told me a price that was very, very high. That's why I didn't. So I got another coach, which was really bad. Actually, she was just not at all. Like we can talk about why, but anyways, she was not working for me. And then I told myself, okay, like back then I felt my gut feeling was like, really, this guy could really help me. And I didn't take him on just because of the price and just because everybody around me told me, you shouldn't take this guy. He's from the US, we're from Israel. What does he know? Is he even a certified coach? And by the way, like there's tons of money. Like, why don't you get an Israeli coach you can get for like a fourth of the price and even sit with them one-on-one, because they're from Israel and you can get a local one. Like, I don't know, like all these reasons just sound like, and my partner told me this and my dad told me this and like everybody that was like, Sagi, you shouldn't get Kelvin. So I didn't, but my gut feeling just still told me like, you're missing out on something big here. And at that moment I said, okay, I got to reach out to the best entrepreneurs I can that can try to help me and mentor me on how to get out of this situation. I got to reach out to entrepreneurs that also have been in my situation, not people that were all successful along and stuff like that. I got to get to people that were in debt. So I called up Kelvin. I called up Jason Zook. I reached out to those guys. Jason Zook is an amazing entrepreneur. I'm part of his, he has a community called Wandering Aimfully. He has a beautiful podcast as well, him and his wife. And they're like Caroline, and they're both amazing. So I'm part of his membership site and his community. So he gave me actually like 2 1-hour calls, like for nothing. Like he didn't request anything for it. He just hopped on a call with me and really helped me out. And that really, really helped. And then Calvin told me, listen, man, like I can totally help you, but I need to coach you. So do you want in? And I'm like, well, I'm not sure, what's the price again? He's like, double the price. You double the price because he told me on the first call he's going to double the price. And so he just doubled the price. And I'm like, oh my God, now I'm in debt and you tell me that the price is doubled. But again, my gut feeling told me, Sagi, you should do this. So I did it. And I just, I took him on. I flew him over to Israel and we had a VIP session here in Israel, hung out. And then we start working together, and he was amazing. He helped me build a vision, and he helped me get out of this spot and also take action and reach goals that I never thought I could achieve. He gave me the path that now I'm leading others when I'm coaching them. So now I'm actually able to, pass this on to others. It's just amazing. I just feel great about that. So again, what fear and motivate, like what drives you? I think one of the things that drives me and can drive anybody that's listening right now is you'd rather live a life of oh wells than what ifs. I think it's totally something that was running through my mind. I heard it somewhere. I don't remember when, but where or when. And when back then when I told no to Calvin, it was like I felt like this is totally not aligned with this sentence, and it wasn't aligned with my gut feeling. So that's why my community, by the way, it's another reason for me naming the community Mindful and Ruthless, because again, ruthless with my gut feeling. I should have been back before I got into the worst spot. I would never even have taken a loan if I would have started working with Calvin back then and listened to my own gut feeling. So it's very important to listen to your gut feeling. But when in times of despair and stuff like that, I think that one thing is like, take actions regarding what your gut feeling says you should do. You probably know what you should do. You just, need to let your gut feeling take you on, not your head. Because if it was only my mind, my logical, rational thoughts, it was totally not to take a coach, fly him over from the U.S. just because I'm in a situation, because I'm actually, in debt and in the red in my bank account. So why the heck should I spend thousands of dollars now only in the first month with this coach that I don't even know if it will work? And that he hasn't even given me enough value up in the calls to understand if he's going to work out for me. He was just like, dude, I can coach you and that's my price. Like, you want in? No problem. Like, I think writing a book is a great idea in that case, because I read his book and it's like, okay, I know what this guy can bring me. I know his story as well. So I should write a book one day.
Yes, you should.
Yeah, we all should, I guess. Like, it's the best business card ever. So and yeah, so I said one thing, like gut feeling, and go by the gut feeling. Second thing is think about your worst spot and all the fear that you have right now, but think, what if you overcome it? What amazing story would you have for your audience? And actually, this is a story I'm saying now. Like, I'm telling the story right now, to your audience. I told it on Pat Flynn's podcast. I'm actually telling this story again and again and again. Now it's driving me to inspire others. And actually, Calvin's story is very similar. So it inspired me. So it's kind of like it's the thing that once you overcome a certain challenge, then let fear be your motivation and just like drive you to pass and just trust that at the end of the tunnel, when you see the light is your story that now you can share on and inspire others, and it will help you now spread your message across and build your empire at the end of it. And so if the worst spot that we all get to sometimes, like really, really bad spots, they're not rock bottom, and they can be seen as a trampoline. That's the way I see it. Like, so.
Love that. Absolutely love that. And I hope you guys picked up some nuggets, because again, like, fear is an emotional, and when we feel the fear, our neurochemicals give it meaning, right? We give the fear meaning.
Yeah.
And then most people just go on and they hit it and they retreat instead of asking it questions. And I love what you said. You said, because when you say how, you are disempowering yourself to move forward, right? You're asking, oh, how do I do this? So you have no responsibility. But when you ask the what questions, what can I do to overcome this? And make a list and make that pro and con list and see what it is for you. But again, it's doing the work and facing the fear up front and saying, I can overcome this. And it's just a neurochemical. Everybody feels fear. I'm not the only one. Everybody in the world, we all have that human experience. Absolutely amazing, Sagi. And, and saying, you're welcome. You're very welcome. And another thing is saying, and it's funny, I just heard this recently, and I want to hear what your thoughts are. I listen to so many podcasts like yourself, and these entrepreneurs were talking about it, about another day, another rooftop. When you're in that entrepreneurial mindset, it feels like you're jumping off rooftops every day. And if you're not experiencing that, like Kelly McGonigal, eustress, that upside of stress, that stress is a good thing to overcome what you're doing, right? As an entrepreneur, you go over, around, or through, or make friends with the thing that you're trying to kill. Say, hey, come on, we could work together, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
But,
totally.
Yeah, and it's insane that we can, as human beings, like, you went and walked your dog and you were trying to figure your stuff out, your shit out, and your hell no's and your hell yes. Can I curse on my own podcast? Right. I know, I'm kidding. But the thing is, it's like saying, it's like you were asking yourself questions and you were going deep and you were fighting. And I believe there's like a little pebble turning into a boulder in your mind and trying to destroy all the crime scenes of A, B, and C of what you were going through, so you could guide the chaos that you were having inside yourself. And that's what you do. You guide the chaos and turn into order. Then it turns to chaos again. Then it turns into order. And I think that's absolutely amazing. And as a coach, a lot of coaches out there who are listening to this, you should go out and get a coach, invest. Because when Sagi had to say, oh my God, you're $40,000 a year or $20,000 a year, or what I currently pay is $25,000. You have to expand the mind and say, oh my God. Once you go out to get that thing, that resource, you've already began to expand yourself.
Totally.
Because now you got skin in the game. Maybe chicken skin, and you're going to turn into reptile skin. But that's what you do, and I think that's absolutely amazing. So, thank you for that. I want to hear about because a lot of people stay in failure.
Mm-hmm.
And then they retreat. So what are things that you've done in each of your peaks and troughs, right? Like being the eels or the salmon swimming upstream, have you overcome? Because people need to overcome things for themselves. So what are those, like one success that you didn't think was going to work, but then all of a sudden it hit stress enough and then exploded? If that makes any sense.
Well, I guess, every good thing that we do has to do with stress and fear. Like every good thing that happens in life comes out of pain or suffering. Let's call it suffering because it's like a global thing for fear, stress, and pain. So every great thing that happens comes out of, in a way, suffering. The only thing is this, like we have to embrace suffering in a way. And in martial arts, there is I've been doing martial arts my entire life almost. So in martial arts, we used to, before fights, we used to really have people beat us in different parts of the body. It sounds really crazy, but it's just how martial arts do that all the time. They just someone kicks you in the leg like 20 times, and then you give the other leg and they kick you 20 times in the other leg, and you give your stomach and they punch you and they kick you in the stomach and in the ribs, and you just all the time, like every single, 2 times a week, that's what you do for 15, 20 minutes. And that is pain, but you get used to it. And then you're even pain is in a way, or suffering, I guess, is also genetic in a way. That's the way I see it. Some people have a higher threshold than others for pain and suffering. But it's definitely something you can learn how to handle. And I think that, how everything that in our life kind of trains us and makes us ready for the next thing, which is going to be bigger. So I guess our whole lives are kind of like that. Everything trains us for the next thing, right? Everything is preparing us. Every stage in our life is preparing us for the next stage, which is going to be harder in a way. And it's the same thing with anything that we do as entrepreneurs. And you said, jumping over rooftops. It's a way of
off rooftops.
Oh, off rooftops. Okay, because I see it as jumping between rooftops in a way, because we can fall off that rooftop, but definitely, and we do fall sometimes. But usually, as entrepreneurs, if we take that leap and we go all in, then we make that leap and we actually get to the other rooftop, and it's freaking amazing. We can be very proud. And if we had a GoPro on us, great.
If we had a what?
GoPro on us was
documenting
GoPro
camera.
And that's entrepreneurs with Instagram stories. But anyway, it's like if we do that and document our journey, and like and we can be very proud to look back and see, oh my God, like this is amazing. You can inspire others by these leaps. And um, and the second thing is our next jump will be better because we get better. Our muscles get better. Our coordination gets better. Our ability to measure distance gets better. Everything gets better. So, and a lot of people see it like, oh my God, like you can fall off the roof. But I'm saying it, hey, you're playing parkour, man. That's a sport. So you better jump off the rooftop. So I think it's again the thing of mentality, like and when he said it, it connected in my mind. But I treat it as like I always hear people talking about like the roller coaster, right? The entrepreneurial roller coaster. I'm like, guys, like if you know to embrace that it's a theme park, then life is a theme park and it's freaking great. But if you see it as, oh my God, roller coaster, like of course you're going to be in that mode of like, oh my God, roller coaster, oh no, like it's not going to be fun at all. But hey, just see life as a theme park and enjoy. So it's again, it's a mindset shift. And once you see that, then everything else becomes like, a few months ago, I think it was maybe half a year ago, whatever. Like I had a very big potential client, very big, like worldwide, crazy big, say no to me for something. And that was like an opportunity where I felt when he said no, when I saw that email, like, no, thank you. Like I prepared for like 2 weeks to pitch him. I thought I had my shit together, but I didn't. I pitched it wrong. It went bad. And he said no. And his email was like, oh, no, thank you. So good luck to you. And we'll talk someday. It's like, well, really kind of like, just no, thank you. Go away now. And for me, that no was a kick in the stomach. When I said, when you read that email or when you experience and know everybody in your life, like everybody here that's listening right now knows it. But so when I got it, I got that kick to the stomach. I'm like, oh my God, like I couldn't even, I couldn't breathe almost. And then I started again, letting loose, like everything that I'm like, Sagi, you worked so hard, toughening up and improving your mindset in the past time, in like year or so. So you should definitely stop. It's okay. It's the game. That's the game you play. Sometimes you get a yes, sometimes you get a no. And you just, it's okay. Like, you can see it as a roller coaster or you can see it as a theme park. It's all good. Like this opportunity lasts right now. Another will come. So we just have to embrace it's totally the mindset. So anytime, getting out of a bad spot or overcoming an obstacle or stuff like that, it's like, it's just, okay. It's just the way life is, and it's great. It's okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful because you got to embrace the suck to success. I mean, that's what it is. Or you could look at it as embracing what it is. It just is what it is. And during that roller coaster, you might pee your pants, you might puke, you might, a bird might hit you in the head and you get beaked, whatever the case may be. But the thing is, you clean it off and you just get back up and you say, what did I learn from this? What did I earn? What did I learn from this experience? And I think that's amazing because, in the words of like Epictetus, right? Like a boxer doesn't go in the ring and get punched and say, dude, I'm done. I just get punched in the face. I'm done. I'm going home. I'm going to go meet my gladiator wife. No, the boxer gets hit and he fights to the ground. And he fights to the ground and gets back up and says, you know what? That kind of sucked. You got to remove some teeth now, right? Maybe you got punched in the face by this guy you were pitching. You remove the teeth, say, okay, cool. I got to get some new ones. And I'm going to figure out, I really want to work with this guy. What can I offer him of value to make this happen? And and he said someday. I love that. Someday. Okay, great. I'm going to take that and eat that, right? Yeah. And maybe work with someone that knows him. And you know what? And I'm sure you'll figure it out. You're a brainiac. You know what I mean? You're always using your brain, And
yes, we all are.
Right. And one thing David Goggins says, I'm like obsessed with him right now for some reason, even though I will never run 300 miles. But he says, once you get to that top of the mountain, build another mountain. Right? Yeah. Get to the top, and that's what you're doing. And you're building the mountain, and your mountain got destroyed, and now you're going to get back up again, right? And guys, if you listen to all of this, take a pen and paper and write down some of these little amazing nuggets along the way and say, how can I implement this in your life? Write it down on a note card, right? and learn from these amazing people. So, thank you for telling me about your coaching experience. And you know what? You're going to get that guy. Somehow, you're going to get him.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm definitely good. And just if I can add one thing on top of that, so I was like, we talked, we probably won't have time to talk about it, but I was like, in 2000, at the beginning of, just at the end of 2017, just coming out of my worst entrepreneurial spot, I went to a meditation retreat. I've done it also in this December of 2018, but I've done the first one in 2017. Just went on a 3-day meditation retreat, and my Buddhist teacher there, he said, he told me, like, I talked to him about my ambitions, and for a Buddhist mindset is like never to even aspire to do anything. Like, in a way, it's kind of like let life be, it's not really be the ambitious kind of like ambitious and high achieving. That's definitely not Buddhist to do. In a way, there is a clash there, and I haven't found yet the solution that the Buddhist way of life talks about. But I'm not even 100% Buddhist. I'm just saying, like, I'm just really inspired by them, and I really want to learn. So as my Buddhist teacher, so listen, I'm not going to drop my ambitions. I definitely have a vision, and I'm going to achieve my vision. I'm high achieving. So what can I do? What tips can you give me instead of just don't be crazy? And he was like, you know what? I have one for you. Whatever you do things out of determination and not greed. And I asked him, okay, well, but what's the difference? Because what's the difference between determination and greed? When do you know that you're determined? When do you know that you're greedy? Because greediness is just wanting something. So he told me, when you are greedy, when you do things out of greed, if you don't have your way, if you don't get your way, you experience suffering. But when you do things out of pure determination and no greed, then you don't get your way and you're totally good. Just continue on. And I think it's totally a worthy piece of, like, a gold nugget there, because every time now that I experience these kind of things, it's like, okay, it's exactly what went through my mind with that client. And I'm like, you know what, I shouldn't be greedy. I should be just like determined. It's okay.
Right. It's amazing. I'm actually going to go to 10:15, but it's, you learn from this, and guys, write this nugget down. That nugget is like a quotable nugget, and you could say Sagi on it and quote him. But it's awesome. Like, there's a Buddhism I'm looking into called Nichiren Buddhism, where they use chanting and voice to channel and remove obstacles. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. Nice. Maybe I could email you just so you get that.
Tibetan or something, but I
mispronounce everything. Yes. But again, that's amazing. Like, Stoicism and Buddhism are kind of in that same infrastructure, where Stoicism is about living the good life. Buddhism is about living the enlightened life. But I believe in putting, personally, Stoicism and Buddhism together to live the enlightened life while having all the abundance and share that abundance with humanity, right? And share your gifts to the world. And, philosophy of life is like, sometimes you could just say, you know what, I'm not tough. You know what, I'm going to be tough. Right? All of a sudden, you puff your chest out and, like, I'm going to be tough for the next 10 hours during whatever, my work day. And I choose this because I don't like the way that thing feels. It's all just a switch, man. And it's crazy. So, and it's like, you've been coached, and, most coaches, you'll go over visualization, guys. You'll go over your strategies, your tactics. You'll go over your skill sets, how you're doing with your skills. Are you... because knowledge is experiencing. You got to bump up the things. Oh, okay, what did I learn from that? Right? I got bit by that freaking cat I want to kill and eat, Okay, how do I kill it and eat it, And then getting, like, what things are, like, energizing and draining you in your life. And I think that's so important, like a stop doing list. Like, what am I doing? And it takes people, but guys, don't just listen and then go on. But really listen to what this young, wonderful entrepreneur, who's just beginning his charge with his sword and battle shield, moving through life. And as a warrior, he just cuts things loose when he doesn't need it. And he surrounds himself with amazing, absolutely amazing people, right? And just see that and experience that and know that for yourself, and use your imagination, But no, like the law of Goya. I heard this from John Assaraf. The law, I don't know if you know, are you familiar with that?
No.
The law, there's a law of attraction, right?
Uh-huh.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And then there's a
Yeah.
law of Goya, the law of Goya, which Goya
Okay.
is get off your ass, right? Right? Like you can attract and think, but you need to take the actions to make things happen. It's like you collected your no's. Like as a coach, I collect no's. The land of the land of no lives in the land of yes, and vice versa. If you're not collecting your no's in life, right, you're not going to get ahead, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you're with clients, like I've had similar. I'm emailing this guy that I want to work with that I met at the podcast movement, and he's an amazing human being. We connected, and he feels anxiety when I talk to him. But he's like, "Should I feel anxiety?" I said, "You should, because if you're looking at this as, I'm looking at it as like I'm in a hospital bed next to you, putting on a gurney and speaking to you, not from a soapbox, but as someone who's experiencing what, and you got more zeros than I do, but my mindset is pretty dead set with going, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he vibes. So it's like, I know it's a long tail game, but that's what it is. Someone might not invest in you now, but all of a sudden in 5 years they're like, dude, that's it. I'm going all in. I'm shoving all my coins to Sagi. He's delivered it finally.
Yeah, totally.
And so I want to leave off and some encouragement for our listeners that can truly inspire, empower, and send them away with like power and confidence with themselves. So, because confidence is so big, right?
Totally.
Right? Like when I work with people, if they don't have confidence, I can't work with them. Right? Mm-hmm. You gotta toe the line and know that I'm gonna punch you in the stomach in a way, which I'm not gonna do that, I swear. But for you, Sagi, it's like you experience that mental toughness and you surround yourself with good people. I know you do, right? Mm-hmm. And you had to cut away from bad people, I'm sure, right? So
I think that mindset is the most important thing that you can invest in, and your vision. Mindset and vision. I have 3 pillars for entrepreneurial success the way I see it. And one is clarity of vision. And you definitely need guidance in building a vision and great vision for yourself, but you need to do it. And when is this episode coming out, by the way?
It's probably going to be about 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
3 weeks, 4 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I interview one awesome person like you a month, and then I do my own stuff.
Cool. All right, cool. I have a webinar this Thursday, but probably will still run, where I guide people on how to build their vision. I think it's the most important thing that you can do, the most important exercise. Once you have the pillar of the clarity of vision in place, then you can move on to taking action with the law of attraction. And again, I'm not saying law of attraction as in the book The Secret, which I've never read, by the way, or anything like that, which is, I know some people who come from different religions have a problem with the law of attraction because it's not really a law. But I'm just saying that as a way of like, you should manifest things into your life, and you should do it in a systematic way. And if you want to look at it not in a spiritual way, if you want to look at it purely just like a rational science, let's say neuroscience way, it's just neural networks developing in your brain. So our actions are moved by our thoughts, which are moved by our feelings. So our feelings are the things that are basically also we need to work on our feelings all the time, and we need to work on our thoughts all the time in order to generate good thoughts. The thoughts that every time we have a thought in our mind, neural networks start building in. So I interviewed for my podcast, Dr. Shannon Irvin. She told me that. So it's like every good thought that you have, it's kind of like cancer in a good or a bad way. It doesn't matter. The thought is good, then good neural networks are building in. If the thought is bad neural networks are just like starting to spread like cancer inside your brain. So imagine yourself now, and if you don't have any confidence, then basically your brain is like a net of very bad neural networks. It's very bad. So the good news, and that's the good news, is like that you can kill any bad neural network inside your brain with a good neural network to replace it within 60 days. So if you work right and you improve your mindset all the time, and I'm not saying the specific way to get there because I don't know, but if you improve all the time, the good neural networks start to take over the bad ones. And then your mind will be full of better, more clear thoughts that will allow you to take actions, be more confident, and get your way in life. And that those things manifest in a way that you never experienced. So everything in life seems to work. So anyways, that's the second pillar. You got to take action with the law of attraction, wishing and manifesting things into your life. And the third part is accountability and mentorship. And you need that part in place. So I invested 70,000. I just, went over 2018 with the accounting and everything. I invested over 70K in coaching and masterminds, in online courses in 2019. So I totally believe that it worked for me, and I'm going to invest more in 2019. So that's a decision I made. It's just going to happen. So it doesn't matter. Your cash flow doesn't matter. I can't say that I've been in a positive cash flow. Actually, I can say that right now, even right now in my business, I'm actually in a bit of a situation with my cash flow. I can totally, honestly, vulnerably say it, because again, I'm taking another leap, to another rooftop. Every time we're going to make leaps and we're going to be in risk, and everything is going to be a risk and, jeopardy, and like, we're going to feel like, oh my God, we can lose it all tomorrow. But hey, you know what? Like, if you take the proper steps and you toughen your mindset, then you'll be able to do these things better. And accountability and mentorship, once you have the two first pillars in place, it's just gold. It's just those things that you will never look back and say, oh my God, I made a mistake. That's never going to happen. It's actually going to take you further. So just invest in good coaching, good masterminds. And that's my tip to everybody here.
That's amazing, because it's like, most people have that confidence gap, and when they jump, they think it's a chasm when actually it's a crack, right? When we're like, oh my God, I'm so scared. And then all of a sudden they go, because those hormones emit. And it's like you said, I tell people, Google this on YouTube. I think Dr. Joe Dispenza, I have some of his courses, but he shows that the nerves actually spread out in certain ways when you think certain thoughts. So it's like there's a reality to this. It's not just words that are thrown at you, that these things, right, we either empower good hormones or we empower bad hormones. Mm-hmm. And when we keep empowering those bad hormones, the body says, you know what, you want more of that? Here you go, bro. I'm going to give you more of that, because that's what you want. And, Sagi's saying, like, just go out and put yourself in action. Think about what you want, focus on it. Right? Because you got to build a system, save yourself time, energy, and money into what you're doing and what you're applying in your life, and I think that's absolutely exceptional. And Sagi is a living testimony, to all this. So guys, if you're interested in either building a strong coaching business and building a business with yourself, right? Or you need help with, a strong designer, right? So one last thing, speak about like a little bit about the design that you do, right? That's I guess that's a crux of your business. Is that right?
Actually, no. Right now,
okay.
That's the leap that I've been doing. I actually, in 2017, when I just started getting out of that, I had to take clients for design, and I started working with a few startups. I'm pretty known in Israel in the startup scene, just because, again, I have the biggest design blog in Israel. And I've been working with top companies such as Fiverr and SimilarWeb and stuff like that. And so I totally am good with startups. But in 2018, I started building a studio operation and started working with other entrepreneurs as well. And then I shutted everything down. So right now I don't have any design clients. I actually have the only design client that I have right now is Pat Flynn, and I'm actually helping him with the logo for FlynnCon. So if you see the FlynnCon 1 logo this year, just know that it's kind of like my art direction there, working with an amazing 3D artist named Yambo, and we're working together and making that happen. And of course, Pat and his creative mind, which is crazy, and his whole team. So anyways, it's I don't have any design clients, and right now I'm making money through my courses, my info products, my mastermind group in Mindful and Ruthless, and now I'm actually launching a new course in Mindful and Ruthless for the Mindful and Ruthless community, an online program, basically, for them to build their personal brands. And I think it's one of the most important things for us, even as coaches, to have a personal brand out there and to have authority in our market. And I'm teaching it through the ways that I've done it, which is like build a blog, podcast community, everything that I've done, all the strategies that I've used. So that's what I'm doing right now.
So when does that launch, the personal branding? Tell us more about that, because you know what? I did it opposite. Like totally. Everybody's like, dude, you don't have a website. You don't have this. You don't have that. I'm like, no, I go out. I talk to people. I ask them after a good conversation, would you be interested in having a coaching session with me?
Yeah. I mean, it's a great way.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So I see like the way to build authority in your market and actually succeed in any career is based on 4 aspects. Like I call it the Authority Quartet. So quartet sound is coming from music. So you have like 4 voices.
Life is music, right?
Yeah, totally. So you have like 1, you have professionality. You got to know your shit. Otherwise, you're not good, right? Like, and that's experience, a combination of experience and talent. Second one is networking. And that's what you're saying, going out and doing. You're probably really, really good at networking and you're a professional. So it connects, right? Right. And then like, so, and also another thing about networking, it's mixed with character. So you have to have a good character. You have to be a good person and have a great character that people can connect to. And probably you have that, right, man? So I guess like people, like when you network with people and you show professionality, then you're pretty good. You're like now and then the third part is pitching and selling. Pitching and selling is also inside it has storytelling, which is another skill that we should all master. And you have to know to pitch and sell. Like you can't just network with people and say, hey, what's up? I'm a coach. Like then you have to say, hey, you want to have a session with me? And you need to pass them through the funnel of like a one coaching call, I don't know, like free call, and then like another longer call. And then of course you need to be good at selling and then also closing, right? Like not only sell them and explain your services, but also know how to close deals. So we all have to master that. And then the 4th aspect, which of this quartet, is content generation and the personal brand aspect. So personal brand is of all of these, but content generation is key. Building an email list, knowing how to, like, once people have the content stuff in place, they become, one to many. The one to many aspect only comes in personal branding, only comes if you have the 4th voice in place, the quartet. So you might really be good at the hack is this, like you can be good at 3 things and really succeed. So probably right now, Raymond, you're really good at those 3 things, which are like, pitching and selling, networking, and you're a professional. So you're showing professionality. So basically now you have this like net, which is supporting you, and it's amazing. 4th part, content, is the part where people take their skills and create now, the one-to-many approach. And then it's Russell Brunson style, right? Like, then you really can take things to a whole different level and sell to your list. Now, apply those skills in a very bigger, broader manner. But I think you actually have content now because you have a podcast. So podcast is content. So I don't know if you have a list or not, or an email list, but if you don't, you should.
Yeah, currently, like I hear and guys, if you hear what he's saying, like with those 4, and I can hear where I'm lacking. I'm doing a scale in my head on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being awesome, 1 being, I'm at here. How can I get up to here? I'm already asking my questions. And content generating is where I'm lacking. I just started writing Medium articles and like, just like pushing myself to do a Facebook Live, call it a raised rant. And it's like, and you see, and people listening see where they're lacking. And if you're lacking and you want to help, look at what Sagi's already done. Like if you go to his Facebook group page, it's just splattered with information, education, infotainment, and he has a good bunch of people there. You're not going to find any negative. You're going to find nothing but support in that community that he created. And I already hear like where I am lacking totally. And and I think it's true, because it's like you got to have a system. Like closing is what, like I work with a few coaches who get really scared when they're like, oh my God, how do I close? You literally have to have a system, and you got to walk them through that visualization and walk them through everything and have the powerful words to put out. And then totally. And then have the case studies, even if they're free, of like, oh, you know what? Just like my client so-and-so worked with me, and this just happened, that he happened to make an additional $25,000 when we worked together. This could happen for you or it couldn't. But would you be interested in hearing more? Because you have the same business acumen that this gentleman had that I just told you about, right? So, yeah, guys, I'm going to end this because I could talk to this gentleman forever. And he's an awesome human being. I really want everybody to go over and just see what he's doing, sniff around. But, just know that, he's given good sense over there. So it's, the food that he's giving and the knowledge and the know-how, he knows what he's doing. And if any of you heard one of these 4 steps and you're lacking in them, go have a conversation with Sagi and see what he could do for you. Okay, guys, again, this is Raymond J. Negron with Beyond Failure to Reach Success. And I want to thank you guys for listening and taking notes and applying them to your life. Sagi, do you have any? Oh, yeah, where can everybody find you, duh?
Yeah, thank you. So first of all, the most important thing, I guess, is actually not the group, it's a podcast. So the Mindful and Ruthless podcast. If you're a podcast listener, listen to the Mindful and Ruthless podcast where I interviewed amazing creative entrepreneurs. So that's one thing. And 2 episodes a week, 1 interview, 1 solo episode. And then the group, Mindful and Ruthless on Facebook, and just find me there. And I hope to see you all.
Yeah, and what was your website? Your personal website? You just put
you can go to mindfulandruthless.com.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Have an amazing day, guys. Bye.
Thank you.